Hello and welcome, finally, one and all, to my Formula 1.5 season for 2015. My name is Alex Does F1 Stuff, and today we are going over the bits before the series starts. So I have finally fully completed the animations and all the tables and everything like that for both Part 1 and Part 2 of the whole season of 2015. It's taken me a little while. I'm still working on the script just a little bit. Then I've got to record everything and edit it, so it should be out hopefully next week. I can hopefully record it all and edit it all and whatnot soon, and then it will be with you. So for those who haven't seen my first Formula 1.5 season where I covered the 2014 season, I'll pop a little playlist to that in the corner. So as we get into the bits before the season starts, I'm just going to cover the whole, all the things that I've either assumed or how I'm working it out, and what the tables are going to look like and how the video is going to run. So first things first, there are of course some driver changes. So if we look at the current 2014 grid, we had Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, Williams, Force India, McLaren, Toro Rosso, Lotus, Sauber, Marussia and Caterham. And then heading into 2015, why have I not got any animations? This is yucky. I thought I put animations on those. Why do they never work? Anyway, for 2015, we lost Caterham. Sauber also had a colour change. They went from grey to blue. We lost the two Toro Rosso boys of Verne and Kvyat, and we now have Verstappen and Sainz. Marussia have lost Chilton and Bianchi and have gone for Roberto Merri and Will Stevens. Lotus have stayed the same. McLaren have got rid of Magnussen and brought Alonso from Ferrari. Force India have stayed the same. Champions Williams with drivers champion Bottas have stayed the same. And then obviously we'll be getting rid of Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes. But because I am lazy and I couldn't be bothered to do any more animating or any more table creations, I'm going to head over to the previous PowerPoint thingy that I created for the 2014 thing to explain all the assumptions and everything that I have made. Right, I really hope that these animations work. They should, because they worked last time, but there's always that little thing, are they actually going to work? Anyway, we're going to cover the qualifying sessions. So in each of the videos, I'm going to break the whole season down into two halves. So from Australia up to Hungary will be in one video, and then from Belgium to the finale in Abu Dhabi will be in another video, each roughly 30 to 40 minutes long. And each race will cover the three qualifying sessions, the starting grid, the race, the fastest lap, and then the championships. So here is a typical 2014, remember this is 2014, we'll change it obviously for 2015, but the whole premise stays the same. So we are removing Rosberg from the Mercedes, Hamilton from the, I remember these animations were a bit slow, but we're removing the Mercedes pair, the Ferrari pair, and the Red Bull pair from every single session, as I feel they're the top three teams, even though in 2014 they weren't so much, but more so they are here. Okay, that may not have made a great deal of sense, but the whole time, regardless of who's driving or where they finish in the championship, we are removing Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull. So we'll then bunch everybody else up in their Q3, Q2 and Q1 respective groups. I will not be forming my own session groups. They will stay like that. So we will have varying drivers or varying numbers of drivers in the sessions. So from now we will then obviously send away the top six, and then we will adjust the positions accordingly. Bear in mind this is obviously the 2014, it's just I'm lazy and couldn't be bothered to make the animations again. So we won't have the Caterhams and the drivers will be different and yada yada yada. But the whole premise is the same. I won't be creating an even Q1, Q2 and Q3 slots with the remaining, how many cars are in 2015? 14 cars, so I won't create an equal split sessions. There will be varying. Sometimes there'll be 3 drivers in one session, sometimes there'll be 6, sometimes there'll be 4, etc, etc. However, this is not how I will be displaying them. They will not go from first down to 5th, and then 6th down to 10th, and then 11th down to 16th in their respective sessions. To add a little bit of drama to it all, I am going to reverse the sessions. Just completely flip them upside down, so it will instead run from 5th to 1st, from 10th to 6th, and then from 16th to 11th. So as well as the table looking a bit like this, they will also have the lap times, the gaps and the intervals to each driver, but yes, it will technically be backwards, but in the script I will talk about the times and the gaps, etc. The random statistics that pop up during the season, like this driver has this many poles, or he ends on a 666, yada yada yada, things like that will all be mentioned, but it's also displayed in every single table as well. And moving on to the race and the race assumptions, it works very similar to qualifying. We take the official race result, we remove the pair of the Mercedes, the Red Bulls and the Ferraris. I'm just going to skip this animation because it's boring. We then bunch everybody up to fill their spaces. We then send away the top 6, or not the top 6, the Mercedes, Ferraris and Red Bulls, and then we readjust the table with the DNFs, etc. and the points. So one thing, if you retire and you are within the points, you will still score the points. I'm not taking away points just because you didn't finish, and yes, the point system will stay exactly the same, running from 25 to 1 from 1st to 10th. But again, it will not be displayed from 1st down to last, it will instead be displayed from last down to 1st, with again the newly adjusted race time and the gap and the interval, plus however many laps there are. So I've got a big sheet of paper, I can't remember where I've put it somewhere, but there's a big sheet of paper with all calculations on it of working out, for example, Perez's new race time, because I think this was from Bahrain 2014, so how far he was behind the race winner of Hamilton, then that would be his race time, and then working out the gaps from Perez to Hülkenberg, then Perez to Massa, Perez to Bottas, etc, etc. Now some assumptions. Obviously it is all make-believe and fantasy, and this would just never happen, but it's a lot of fun for me to create. But take a scenario in a real 2015 race where, if I just play this animation here, you see that a driver that would be in a Ferrari, Mercedes or a Red Bull crashes in for like that. Terrible animation, but illustrates my point. So a Ferrari, Mercedes or a Red Bull crashes into a non-Ferrari, Mercedes or Red Bull, they will still retire in my race even though I've not counted them, as I feel that's too far of a stretch of like the imagination and whatnot, so I didn't want to include that. And on the note of retirements, etc., I try and include as much accurate information as I can about the retirement, but sometimes it just kind of prolongs the table a bit, and I just want to not quickly get through it, but I don't want to bog it down with too much information. Same as I include penalties as well that people receive at the grid, but equally McLaren had about 150 million penalties in 2015, so I don't know whether I will speak about them often, but they will be displayed in a table. And finally, the championships for this series. They are going to run exactly the same as any of my current championships that I have in the fantasy prediction, and then also the 2014 1.5 season, or now 2015. So the way it will work is a table first will be shown of the drivers' gains compared to their previous points tally before the race. There will then be a shuffling animation of people changing places after the race, and then there'll be a differences table. So for every driver's championship, or for every race, there will be 3 drivers' championship table, the gains, the shuffles, the differences, and then same with the constructors, there will be the gains, the shuffles, and the differences. So that is all of the assumptions and things that I will be making, or already have made, I haven't made a video yet, for my Formula 1.5 season for 2015. I also just want to stress that this genuinely has taken up a lot of my time, Equally, I have a lot of time as it's quarantine, and it is a hell of a lot of fun, but I have created for this entire season 223 custom tables to fill out. That's championships and all of the race tables, etc. for 19 different races. There are then, I think it was a roughly, so far, 20 man hours has gone into all of it, because I've got to copy paste all of the data over from the website to here. I've got to colour it all, got to animate it, now I've got to record it and then edit it, etc, etc. Everything's all sort of stacking up a bit. So any feedback at all for this series, constructive or not constructive, can be whatever, not too fussed. Any feedback is much appreciated. But that is all I've got for you today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next video with whatever I decide to make, which will hopefully be the 1.5 season for 2015. I'll see you then.